Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Luce, and tonight we're doing the next phase of the PeluPelu quests. So tell me, Liplu, what have you got going on? Something seems to be weighing heavily on Liplu's mind. What am I going to do? I can't seem to find anyone up to the task. Oh, Coda, you have a wonderful habit of appearing exactly when I need you. I got a problem on my hands. Don't worry, the agency's doing just fine. The Earthenshire tour has been a runaway success, and if bookings stay steady, we'll recoup all the recent outlays. Well, that's actually the problem. The upper reaches of Kozamuka are proving too popular. We're struggling to meet demand with our number of guides. I want to address the issue before the burden starts to wear the staff down. You aren't aware of anyone needs of work who knows the region like the back of their hand, right? The certain bandit gang comes to mind, as we will be better off doing something productive. I'm not sure why my character would want to support them, but then again, they did take any job, basically. Remember, they were specifically paid for that job. The ones who kidnapped the Dawn Servant, the right of discussion? I'm sure they know the area well. Hold on. I do remember a group of miscreants who turned themselves in not long after. Apparently, they were later released on parole. If they're willing to atone for their crimes and genuinely wish to make a fresh start. They probably won't be too expensive, I'm guessing is what Liplu's thinking. My inner abacus is clacking away. It says we should speak to them at the very least. Reduce the strain on our staff, give former bandits back to the communities they wronged. Yes, everyone stands to gain much of this potential arrangement. Would you be willing to help track down these bandits? I knew I could count on you. Let's head to the many fires and see what we can glean from the locals. And yeah, as per usual, I'm not using my avatar for these recordings because this is going to be a very short thing, and I don't want to have to cut a stream and cut off the first, what, half hour to an hour of a stream for this. Oh, looks like a train is in the area. I already capped out for the week, but I should probably be doing more of those in general. That's not a big deal. Yeah, I should be doing more of those because I actually am making progress towards the title, but that's something you're supposed to chip away at after a long time. I'm not too worried. Has Moby heard wind talk of bandits? Afraid not. These parts have been peaceful as of late. Plenty of time to fish, although I catch a scrawny fisher in the woods not far from Deceiver's Mantle. A Tonawawada with crazy hair and bright jingly shine. I wonder who he was. That's a lead, I suppose. Busy peddler. My goodness, it's you. He came here with the Dawn Servant Kana seeking information about the bandit that waylaid me. Is there anything I can help you with? Ah, luckily, I'm seeking those same bandits. I wish you know what happened to Walkessa and the band of brigands after all that. I gather they surrendered the Lands Guard. They even confessed their whereabouts of the stolen goods, that everything might be returned. Sure enough, my merchandise made its way back to me. Apparently some of their victims were so moved, they petitioned Land Guards to be more lenient. Perhaps that's why Wuklamont granted them parole. I don't know how they've fared since, but I've heard nothing to suggest they've been causing trouble. Anyway, you'll excuse me, I must meet a client Urkapaka. Hope we meet again someday. I should really do a lot of these side quests. I did them very consistently for Heavensward and Stormblood, but afterward I kind of fell off, and I think that's largely because better methods of getting XP happened. I should still do them anyway, though, because they do contain neat lore stuff. You seek news of bandits let out on parole? Sneaky takers, the lot of them. They spread many bad feels in the village of their crimes. Cheese was not for them. Apparently, they were eye-catching not long ago. Mobby dreads to think about the inevitable recidivism. I hope they had time to reflect on the wrongness of dirty taking and are ready to make an honest living. Yeah, nothing wrong with being suspicious. It's hard to say who's being honest and who isn't, after all. Any news of our bandits? There seems to be a bit of consistency, I notice. Turn themselves in, return the goods, and now living in the wilds after being pardoned. What's more, it seems they haven't fallen back in their old habits. Let's make for the woods in the south, where the angler spotted Waukesa. Right. Hopefully we can run into him there. I remember not being as wowed by this area originally. I think because there's just so many foresty areas, it's hard to feel like it stands out as much. Perhaps if they leaned a bit more into the jungle aesthetic, it would have stood out a bit more, I think. Because this is a jungle biome. I must admit, I regret being so bold, but then again, what do I fear with you by my side? I suppose it's hard to beat a samurai when it comes to quick, raw DPS. I guess they could be staying away from me because after how bad I was for them last time. Darn thing I'm not cut out for fishing. A man can't live off scavenging brown berries forever. I figured he was about to do a double take. Yo, you're the salted devil. That salted devil with a cell sword. Listen, I turned myself in, gave back what I stole, put the life behind me. What more could you possibly want from me? I like the cheeky, oh, I don't want anything from you. It's because, now let's just be frank. Frank, bluntly, I have a proposition for you. Why would I trust you? You're here to get revenge for the kidnapping, aren't you? I assure you, as my associate says, we do have a proposition. I'm PeluPelu, it is a pleasure to meet you. I'll get straight to the point. If you're serious about keeping the straight and narrow and making amends, perhaps you'd like to work with us, the Trolley Travel Agency. Work for you? I see your scheme, planning to haul me off to the mines under the guise of employment, are you? Curse you black hearts, I dare to survive after I escape. I wouldn't set foot inside another mine while there's still breath in my lungs. Oh, wait. I don't think we have... Oh, yeah, we don't have mining tours. We have that vaguely underground area, but that was more of a waterfall cave. That was unexpected. And talk of mines, he seemed genuinely traumatized. Code, I want to figure out what happened to him. Hopefully, that way we can clear up this misunderstanding. I hate to ask, would you find him and bring him back here? He's awfully fast, but I doubt he can outrun you. Well, I doubt he can outrun my mount. Especially since I purchased the mount speed increase for this area. I mean, it's not a huge deal. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was proven that it doesn't make a huge difference, but... hey, it's nice to have something else to collect, I suppose. Now, let's see. Here he is, behind a rock. I figured he might be here. I was more thinking maybe he's on top of these rocks, but I thought, nah, they don't always, make quests here. Like, there is a side quest there are some side quests in Heaven's Ward areas you genuinely can't do until you unlock the area, but that's also because Heaven's Ward was when they, that was because Heaven's Ward was when they first introduced flight as a mechanic. Ah, neat. Alright, I remember this from the story. But yeah, they introduced flight as a mechanic, so everything in there was designed to push you towards completing the flight quest. Including making the maps as frustrating to navigate as possible. Like, these ones that basically are cut in half with something you have to fly over to easily traverse so they can separate the areas before you complete the story. Those are a lot less frustrating to navigate. I don't care how fast they are. They'll never find me here. Hey, how? Well, I mean, I am using a dog mount. It's pretty easy for it to sniff you out. Unbelievable. I ran full pelt. Oh, it's a use. Listen, I know I did was inexcusable, but after it came to a head, we made an oath to never walk that path again. I won't bother another soul. Live my days out in the fringes. Please, just leave me be. What happened, exactly? You saying it's all a misunderstanding? Well, it's clear to me there's no escaping you regardless. Fine, I'll hear out and put my fate in your hands. Looks like those people are doing treasure maps. Oh, good luck to them. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Your associate says she's want to talk, and I'm prepared to listen this time. I'll apologize if we frightened you, Walkessa. That wasn't our intention. Are you willing to tell us why you fled? Before we get that, I want to be honest. Do you really have a proposition for me that doesn't involve dragging me back to those godforsaken mines? In that case, I'll be honest with you. Me and the rest of the gang first came here after fleeing Zoctral. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but Shalawani's been a hotbed of development since they found blue gold beneath the plains. Among the folk that got their hands on a drilling permit, there were more than a few looking to get rich quick. The kind of despicable bastards didn't think twice about sending kids to tunnels, and we worked for the worst of the worst. Day after day, toiling and wasting, till we died or escaped, we eventually realized, so we smuggled ourselves out in some empty cerulean barrels. You can imagine what happened next. That Vidrol of a foreman tried to hunt us down, so we fled to Kozamuka and took to banditry, as much to conceal our identities as to make ends meet. That makes sense. Right or wrong, be damned, we'd survive, but when we heard the Dawn servant Woklamat spoke of our plight during the Ascension ceremony, we decided to turn ourselves in. After a time, she showed us mercy and gave us a pardon. Even so, there's still that fear of what might happen to the foreman or his lackeys were to find us. Thank you for sharing your story and telling me of the struggles you and your friends have experienced. Let me assure you, I do not wish to bind you to contracts or chains. I offer only opportunity for you and your comments to provide yourselves, to make an honest living on your own terms. So how does that sound? How does working for the Tirali Travel Agency sound? It's more than any of us could have ever dared hope for. But what if word gets back to the foreman? If someone shows up to haul us away, and we drag you into our affairs? I'll need to look into it to be sure, but I honestly don't think there's much chance of that happening. Thanks to the efforts of the Dustwatch and Daybreakers, Shalawani is no longer the lawless place it used to be. Besides, I'm working on a plan to help integrate former outlaws into society. I'll be sending out the Wings of Reflection to see if they can't support the initiative. I'm certain new Dawn servants will give their blessing. Well, it's a lot better than having them be forced to turn to banditry again. I think I mentioned before, but yeah. Incredible, but you know, it feels like we should be begging you for the opportunity. We burned so many bridges, I'll make damn sure you don't regret this. That said, what are we supposed to do for you? About all we're good for is manual labor and pathfinding, though I do know my way around a cook fire after feeding miners for all those years. That wasn't part of the plan per se, but I think your culinary skills might actually come in handy. A restaurant on site could be a real earner. As for our comrades, we've been looking for individuals with intimate knowledge of the upstream Kozmuka area who are capable of handling themselves. My plan was to employ them as guides turned protectors through an assessment and proper training. I'd say it's about time we got back and continued preparations. Kessa can meet us back at the agency at Doc Poga once he contacts his friends. I get the sense the PeluPelu are, certainly good merchants. I get the sense they'd also be pretty good at legalese. If the foreman did try to get them back here, they could certainly pull some strings to make I'm pretty sure Liplu could easily pull some strings to ensure they aren't going anywhere. After all, being a merchant still requires knowing how to properly handle the legal stuff. Especially since I imagine there's plenty of disputes and stuff. Even if they're not nearly as heated as some of the stuff in the main story, they're still pretty important to deal with. But that's just my personal speculation. There's nothing to say that. The story hasn't said anything of such. Huh, but interesting. Children sold off to mines for labor, or any grew up working there. Damn. I didn't expect them to go there, but to think if they're gonna do another one like last year, I was gonna say this is pretty nice, but it is also a little too simple. But yeah, I'm glad they decided to go there. They did hint that there was definitely a lot of stuff going on in the background of Shalawani, so I appreciate it expanding on it a bit. It's really, that kind of stuff is what these quests are good for, I'd say. Real lost work. Something tells me we won't get another chance like this. Welcome back, Coda. I reached out the Wings of Reflection. It was just as I thought. Seems, well, Kessa's fears were unfounded. The situation of the Cerulean fields has changed dramatically the past few years. Groups like the Daybreakers have put an end to the practice of child labor, and the Dust Watch have all but stamped out the violent duels that used to be so common. As for the company you and your comrades work for, they've long since been shut down. For its I don't know if PeluPelu is actually experiencing legalese, but it seems they're at least good. She's at least pretty good at information gathering. For its part, the Wings of Reflection is committed to the restoration and preservation of law and order in Shalawani. Any new unscrupulous drilling operations will be swiftly dealt with. You need not worry about anyone coming after you. Ah, thank heavens for that. Well, he did say they were started as kids and grew up in there, so and since they'd escaped for years and been bandits, it makes sense that a good amount would change. Quite a bit can change in even 1 year, let alone however long they were there. Thank the heavens for that. In that case, we commit to doing our part and repaying our debts. We've decided to set aside some earnings and repay the folk for the hurt we caused. Oh, that's wonderful. Simply wonderful. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Ooh, nice. Thanks to the efforts of PeluPelu and her special advisor, while Kessa and his comrades have agreed to join the trolley travel agency. With this influx of new recruits, the shortage of staff that threatened to curtail expansion to Earthenshire has been resolved. While his former crewmates begin to training as guides, while Kessa himself is devising a menu of delicious local dishes as head chef of the new eatery, be sure to assist him and his new crew of former brigands in their road to rehabilitation. They get some honest work. PeluPelu gets the labor. It seems like we've all got what we wanted out of that deal. Trolley Travel Agency reputation up. Access from what to a wider section of wares. PeluPelu Proponent 3. Excellent. Yeah, spreading the storyline over the course of a month or so is really helping this out. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and turn these in for the reputation. Yeah, like I said, I already capped the week. Let's see. Yep. Looking pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, I appreciate that everyone's vanishing while I'm turning these in, because that big-ass mount is making it annoying to click on. Worth the wait. U-Blade's waiting for a shipment to arrive. An important shipment's just arrived from Earthenshire, delivered to the nearest wharf. The problem is the crate's extremely heavy. I'd like to have it moved before arriving customers trip over, but our mobile importer is struggling with the weight. Could you go down and lend a hand? This swarm enemy. When the giant paper wasps near Dock Tumu start to swarm, they become a danger to anyone nearby. We currently have one of the Wildcast's comrades out there handling it, a most driven individual, I must say. Even so, there are more wasps than first expected. I'm worried he might be overwhelmed. You should be fighting near Dewspun Bank. I wonder if you could make your own way there and help eradicate a few. Once you've thinned out, please check our self-appointed exterminator, not examiner. In time for lunch. A request from Wildcast, something about making urgent delivery to guide a middle-sizing tour. Could you please help him do the help? Did you please send any my way? Good, because I really need someone to make a food delivery. When the tours head to far out-flung places, I pack lunches for the groups to take with them. One for each customer, one for the guide. Can't have them going hungry, now can I? Well, that's clever. Well, today a guide friend of mine took the lunches with her as she usually does. Being an incurable scatterbrain, though, she only grabbed the customer ones and forgot to take her own. I need someone to deliver a meal to our forgetful guide before she pushes too far on an empty stomach. You'll find her on the marsh, hopefully upright and not fainted by the wayside. I'm guessing that the wait quest is going to be a transportation mission. Shouldn't be too hard, especially since these timers... Well, I did notice the timer for the last one was actually a bit tighter than the one in Endwalker and Shadowbringers, which you basically get 3 minutes for a 15-second walk, but there, you get like 2 minutes for a 1-minute walk. Not bad. Special advisor. Well, it was a minute and a half. Potsworn Gold... Actually, I should look back at my VOD, because I think it was recorded there. Potsworn Goldwork is a popular choice. Special advisor, thank you for coming to help Flappy Arm Mobby. Goldwork is a popular choice for Cosmoka memory keeping, but a crate holding many gold crabs is much too bulky weight for one moblin. Please, needs one Iron Arm adventurer to carry it. To the supply officer. You have 60 seconds. Oh yeah, here it is. So it's so yeah, just 1 minute this time instead of 2 or 3 minutes. Sadly, even if I activate my sprint ability before then, it'll be removed because they knew that people might try to be cheeky to do that. Okay, I do like this. It's nice seeing the timer actually count down to a decent amount like that. So yeah. Yeah, it looks like we get about a minute for a 30-second walk, whereas before you get like 2 minutes for a 30-second walk. So I think this is feels a lot better, even though you actually have a fairly generous amount of time to deliver it. Is that shipment? Thanks for bringing it in. I picked it up myself, but sorting our inventories kept me busy. Potsworn craft is in high demand, and maintaining steady supplies has been a logistical headache, to say the least. We've just had a customer asking them about availability, so I'd like to get this gold work on the shelves sooner than later. Works for me. I've seen some in the FC complain that there's not very much combat in these, and I do kind of get that. But even the crafting and gathering ones don't always have you doing crafting or gathering. Like, for the Endwalker one of the quests is just doing a dance rather than actually crafting. Most are crafting, but there's a handful that are just perform an emote or say something, or make a delivery, or use the mount to activate something. I think it works fine, because I think it'd be a bit too samey if it was always... combat or always crafting, just because the whole point of these is you're doing errands to help them in their day-to-day work, rather than a major thing that'll shift everything like in the main story, you know? I guess what I'm saying is some quests work better for repeatable quests, and some work better for one-off quests. Oh, I'm starting to smell the lunch I forgot to bring. Wait, why do you have it with you? Hearty packed lunch. Delicious and filling packed lunch prepared by Wokesa. And here I was resigned to finishing the tour on an empty stomach. Thanks for hiking all this way just for me. We take a break to eat the food Wokesa packed for us, then we'll be on our way. You can let them know back at Doc Poga everything's going according to schedule. Once we're done eating here, we'll get back on the trail. Thanks for bringing me my lunch. It is nice when particularly long tours take a stop for lunch or whatever. I've been on a few of those, but sadly not many. I think that's an B rank. I'll worry about it. Hostile justice. Huh. Ah, here he is. Driven employee. Ah, good to see you, Special Advisor. Especially when you're covered in wasp innards. I appreciate the help. That should keep things quiet around here for a time, but I'll be watching and waiting. More of those buzzing terrors will hatch, and someone has to be there on hand to thin the swarm. That's not an A rank, because I know the 2 A ranks here, because as I mentioned, I can look it up after the recording, but yeah, I know the A ranks by heart because I've been farming those to max out my weekly tomes. It is significantly less time consuming and, frankly, more fun than spamming EX roulettes. EX roulettes are fine, mind you, it's just doing them over and over can get you sick of them since there's 3 in the queue. Much better than the 2 we had in Shadowbringers and Endwalker, but still. Actually, no, there's 4. Actually, no, there's 4 now. Not as bad. That's good. Well, that's good. Yep. Right, we're in the 0.1 patch now. Can't forget. I'm a scatterbrain sometimes. Yeah, and the S ranks, you can tell an S rank because they're like 3 times as big because they're meant to be fought by a whole server at the time of the expansion release. So you have to be able to see them even when from a distance. Not much, but it's a nice little burst to get me going there. I think it'll take a bit under a week to max this out, and then it takes 10 days for the final one, so that should be pretty good. I'll of course be doing recording the final PeluPelu quest as well to see how this goes. I quite like this one. Lighthearted, but still has just enough interesting about it to keep me engaged. But that's going to be all for now. If you want to see more of my work, feel free to check the various playlists I have for this and the other games I played, or I stream live on Twitch. Until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.